Welcome to another RSR. Tonight I'm reviewing CD Olimpia 1, FC Motagua 0 in the 2022 Scotiabank CONCACAF League Semifinal Leg 2. CD Olimpia 1, FC Motagua 0 in La Liga CONCACAF de Scotiabank 2022 Semifinales. Partido Volta. Olimpia avanzar a la final de la Liga CONCACAF de Scotiabank. Big win for Olimpia. Felicidades, Olimpia, afición. Big win. Yes, both sides went down to 10 throughout the match. Olimpia got a red card early in the middle of the first half. Had to basically hold on for dear life until about the 60th minute when Motagua went down to 10. Then the game started to even out a bit. Both teams tried to play more defensively and more tough, more chippy to win this game. And they honestly both wanted penalties, or at least Motagua wanted penalties, it seemed like. The later they went, the more they accepted penalties. But Olimpia did not. Carlos Sanchez in the 87th minute gets the ball in the box, takes the shot, puts it far post, into the side of it, past Rougier. He couldn't even get a hand to it. And what a beautiful goal to break the deadlock of a game that almost went 180 minutes with a draw, scoreless, which would have went to penalties. What a way to break the deadlock. 87th minute, 1-0, 1-0. Esta noche, 1-0 on aggregate, 1-0 global, and that's the way it would end. 1-0 on the night, on aggregate, 1-0 esta noche y global. That's all they would need. That one beautiful goal by Carlos Sanchez. That's it. Through both ties, both legs, that's all they needed at their house. At Chalata Ucles in Tegucigalpa, that's all they needed. One goal. And to defend with their lives. And oh, they did. Stats are as follows. 7 shots to 7. 6 shots on goal to 3. 44% possession to 56% possession. Only because they were down a man for about 30 minutes. And then after that, the possession started to turn back or even out a bit more. 288 passes to 404 passes. 85% pass accuracy to 96. 16 fouls to 20. 1 offside to 3. 4 yellow cards to 5. 1 red card to 1. 4 corners to 3. Olimpia, in the end, did what they had to do. Motagua were definitely the cleaner team. Olimpia was way more sloppy when it came to the way they played. They definitely gave away passes they shouldn't have gave away, honestly, in both legs. Motagua were more clean with the ball, clean in their process. But the chaos ball that Olimpia put out there after they went down a man was enough to win. Chaos ball. That's exactly what I'm going to call this game. This game was full of chaos ball. And it's a derby. It's a rivalry. Super Clásico Hondureño. Semifinal. Of course it's going to be crazy. Of course it's going to encroach on red wedding territory. What would you expect? It was a beautiful game. A great game to watch. An entertaining game to watch. And a very interesting situation to see played through with Olimpia and Motagua. It was a very interesting situation, and I did say Olimpia would win this tie. I thought it wouldn't be this tight with the way they've played in this tournament. But the way Motagua played in this tournament was a good counter to the way Olimpia's played, because Motagua struggled a lot in this tournament so far, up to the semifinals, and they still almost took this to penalties, which they should have. Honestly, the way Olimpia's been playing, just blowing the doors off people, it should have never been that way, but it was. So if you look at it from that situation, Olimpia were the much better team, and they finally bit. And it was so close to the end that all they had to do was hold for about 5 minutes, and they would win the tie, and that's what they did. They're going on to the final. They're going on to the final to try to be the team that bookends this tournament. The final that I called from day one. Olimpia Alajuelense is our final in the final ever Scotiabank CONCACAF League. The final. 180 minutes. Maybe even to 210 minutes if there's extra time. I wouldn't be shocked. It's going to be a beautiful final, and it's going to be very interesting. Alajuelense, who blew the doors off of Real España, or Olimpia, who was blowing the doors off of everybody else, not this tie. We'll see what happens, and I'll predict it right before it starts, but you got to wait for about 3 weeks before I predict it. I will recap everything, put it all in a bow tomorrow. Should be about a 7-10 minute video, but not much more. No prediction, though. You cannot get a prediction for the final until right before it starts. So, with that being said, if I were you, Motagua fans, Motagua afición, if I were you, y'all, your history in this tournament, and I can see why they played so tough, is your history in this tournament is now the eternal bridesmaid. The eternal bridesmaid. You had one more chance to change that narrative, to get to the final and win it. And you didn't change that narrative. 3 finals in 4 years, 3 finals in 5 years, and you couldn't do a damn thing. You've had your moments and you've had your downs, and you are definitely eternal bridesmaids in the history of the CONCACAF League. You're still going to Champions League, but the way this ended, that's got to be a heartbreaker, because honestly, Motagua did everything they could to win this tie, or at least get this to penalties. And I kind of felt if they got it to penalties, they'd win, because it seemed like Troglio was doing the exact same thing he did in 2020 and almost shot himself in the foot with who he had on the pitch to take those penalties. Probably that late goal was what they needed. And he was happy as hell to get it, but I'm sure in the end, he was glad that's the way it went down, because Olimpia definitely did not play to their fullest potential in this tie. Now, of course, when it comes to a derby between two giants, the Honduran giants, the Super Clásico Hondureño, anything could happen. Well, anything almost happened, and honestly, Motagua, even though you've always came short, you should keep your heads up high, because you're tough. You're a damn good team, and you got a new history starting with the Central American Cup, and I'm sure you're going to be there and be a big part of it like you were CONCACAF League. So enjoy Champions League next year. Enjoy Central American Cup, and let's try to change the narrative about y'all there. Hopefully you do. I would hope to see it. I've a lot of hope that you do overturn that narrative. Olimpia fans, if I were you, this was a big win, and y'all were getting lit at the end there, throwing flares. It was some beautiful stuff. Like, they were lit for sure, but a good win from Olimpia. They did everything. They played the process their way. They played chaos ball, and if that's what you got to do to win, that's what they did to win. And I had y'all going to the final. I had y'all winning this tournament from day one. I don't know. I'm not going to say if that's the same when it comes to the final itself. Whether we'll have a difference between my full bracket and my final prediction or not, I won't say that until we get closer to the final. But Olimpia definitely didn't blow the doors off Motagua. They definitely took it one step at a time and took the opportunities that they were given, and definitely in a memorable way broke the deadlock and won the tie. And that's all you got to do. Sometimes blowing the doors off people just ain't the way. Sometimes you got to just wait your turn and wait for your moment and then strike. And that's what they did. And sometimes if you can win that way, chaos-wise, that's great. They are the best team in Honduras, as this tournament says, and the history would show in CONCACAF League. And they got one more chance. They got the chance to bookend this tournament as champions with 2 different trophies, because let's also remember that 2017's trophy is different than the current trophy. With that being said, though, the final has got storylines aplenty. And Olimpia, this game had storylines aplenty, and the final sure has storylines aplenty. We got the first champions versus the 2020 champions. We got a team that could bookend as champions, or a team that could become the only or the two-time champions with the same trophy they won both times, and a team that won during the pandemic year and during a regular two-legged tournament. And the winner is the only two-time champion of this tournament. So there's a lot of storylines, a lot of bragging rights to get. Two Central American giants between Olimpia and Alajuelense. Honduras versus Costa Rica, the two countries that have dominated this tournament throughout its history. And it's going to be beautiful at the end of October, early November. It's going to be a fun one. Now I can't wait to see it. And Olimpia and Alajuelense, the two teams that you would say should be there, are there. 2 more CONCACAF League games ever. 180 more minutes. Maybe 210 if we go to extra time and go all the way to penalties. Who knows? But we will see how this goes, how enjoyable this will be. So with that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that super chat. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for a recap of the CONCACAF League semifinals in 2022. And that's all you're getting. We don't predict on the semifinal review. We just review the semifinals. And I'll tell you how much I got right. If I went 2 for 2, 1 for 2, or 0 for 2. If you watch the predictions, you would know. But I'll see you then. Felicidades Olimpia. Felicidades Olimpia afición. Congratulations, Olimpia. Good luck in the final. And we'll see that final in a couple of weeks. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.